Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Melissa and we're going to do a houseplant collection tour video today. I am going to take you around my home and show you my plants and my current setup and all that. So I'm super excited. If you don't know, we are moving soon in the next month or so. So I'm going to have a whole new plant setup. So if you want to follow along with me and watch me through that journey, I would love to have you. It's all going to change. I have plants kind of all over the house right now, so it's sort of a mess, but they're sort of in two main areas, and I have a greenhouse back here too that we'll go through. So yeah, I will get started here, and I have about, I probably have like 180 or so houseplants in my collection. It's probably more, and yeah, I haven't done a count in a few months, but yeah, I've added some more along the way. So maybe like 180, 185, a good estimate. I did downsize a little bit, so I don't have as many. I probably had close to 250 at one point, and it was a little much. So yeah, I will take you through here and let's get started because I'm excited. All right, so this is my little extra bedroom upstairs. This is where I have a good chunk of my plants. I have a lot of plants along the window here and on that shelf, and there's a greenhouse behind me, and then I have some moss pole plants too that we'll go through. So yeah, this is where I'm gonna get started first, and I'll kind of take you through each plant in here. Okay, so this little shelf here is my little moss pole corner. This is just some of my plants on moss poles. I have a lot more plants that are on moss poles, but these are just some of them that I have up out of the way from the cats, and I'll kind of walk you through. This first one here is a marble queen pothos. This one is pretty new to being on a moss pole, so he hasn't quite climbed yet, but he's getting there. And then the next one is my Rhaphidophora Hoya, and I recently extended the pole on that guy so he can continue climbing up. And he's starting to give me bigger leaves. This is where I repotted him, and his leaves are starting to get bigger, so that's exciting. And then next to that one is my Monstera Adansonii. I have the oldest strand is giving me some yellow leaves, but it is pushing out some new growth, like there's a new growth up top there. And the tallest strand is growing, so yeah, he just got kind of angry there for a bit, but I think it's settled down. I did recently repot him a couple months ago, so that's probably why, but yeah. And this guy over here is my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. He's not that tall, but this guy started from cutting, so he is kind of attached into the pole. You can see he's got aerial roots in the pole, like kind of all the way up, and he is giving me some new growth finally. He kind of slowed down a bit, but I'm excited for this guy to get super tall. I'm probably going to have to extend his pole soon too. And then this guy back here is my Syngonium albo. He is climbing up. Look at those leaves. I have a second Syngonium alba that I just got, but this is my oldest one, and this one is climbing. So I cannot wait to get big leaves on this guy. Like, the leaves are pretty big already, so I'm super excited. And then that guy way in the back is just my regular heartleaf philodendron, just the regular green version. You can't really see him that much, but yeah, he is climbing up, and his pole is pretty tall too. It's one of the oldest heartleafs that I have in my collection. I put him on a pole a long time ago, so he's not super attached and he looks kind of crazy, but he's starting to fill out more, so it does look better than what it did when I first put him on the pole. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more plants on moss poles, but these are just some that I have in this little corner right here. Okay, next I will do this window area here, and we'll kind of go through the plants that are in this area. And then up top on the ceiling, I do have a marble queen pothos hanging up there, so it's just kind of chilling in that little basket. He all started from a small plant too. So I have a string of hearts hanging from this south window, and he's getting super long. I started him from a really small plant, so I propagated some strands recently, so they're starting to grow. And I mostly have a lot of Hoya and Monstera and some philodendron here by this window. So I have a lot of like my sun-loving plants here, especially my Hoyas. They just really like the bright light. So we'll start on the window first. Okay, and along this window ledge first, this is my most prized plant. It's my Monstera aria, and it recently gave me this beautiful leaf, which I'm obsessed with, so I love that Monstera so much. And this is a Monstera albo along with that guy. All right, and this is a Hoya sunrise. It is on a trellis, and it is starting to get sun stressed on a lot of the leaves because it's in this bright window. And these two here, they're both Hoya publicalixes. I think this one's a pink splash because some of the leaves are a little bit pink, like the variegation. And this one's on a really tall trellis. And that one is on a trellis as well, and it's starting to give me more growth. So yeah, they just really like being in this window. You guys are gonna have to forgive me for my pronunciation in this video because I'm just all over the place and I'm already talking too much and my mouth is getting sticky, so you'll have to ignore me. I also have my string of pearls there. I haven't done anything with him, and he is happy. He's growing. He's kind of off to the side, but I haven't repotted him or done anything with him since I bought him. So he seems happy. I kind of just forget about him, and he hasn't given me any trouble. So yeah, he just kind of hangs out there. And this guy here is one of my Monstera deliciosas. I started this guy when he was really small, and I added a new plant into this pot not too long ago, probably a few months ago. Well, no, that was actually back in the spring I did that because I found a variegated leaf on one, and so I bought one and added a strand back in. But this guy has given me lots of new growth. He's so happy. He has like 5 new leaves, I think, currently at this time. And I recently upsized his pot because he was drying out super fast. So yeah, he's definitely happy now, and I love the leaves. Just a beautiful Monstera. I have a variegated Burl Marks philodendron down there. I sold a top cut off of him, so he's smaller than what he used to be. And I actually have another one here that I'm going to add into that pot once it comes spring. So I have 2 right now, but I'm not really counting this one because, yeah, that's like my main one. So yeah, I'll add it together and make a fuller pot here at some point in the spring. Okay, and these 2 guys here are on a moss pole. This is a neon pothos that I am starting from propagation, so he hasn't really grown yet, so he's just kind of focusing on his root system before he starts to grow, and I will attach him up to the pole once he grows more. And this is one of my Micans plants here. I recently added him to a pole, and he is starting to climb up. And I love the beautiful color. It's such a gorgeous plant. I love philodendron micans. I have another one downstairs that I'm going to let trail, but this one I'm going to let climb up, and it's just beautiful. Like, look at that leaf in the sunshine. It is so pretty. I moved this ficus back a little bit because he was drooping a little bit, and someone told me that I should probably move him back from direct sun. So he's a couple feet back. I might have to move him back more, but he's doing okay. He was outside all summer. This is a ficus teneki, and you know, he was loving it outside, but ever since I brought him in, he seems a little bit sad. He does have some new growth though, but some of the leaves are drooping a little. So yeah, I'm gonna have to hopefully keep him happy until I can put him back outside, because ficus are definitely very picky plants. All right, next I'll take you on to this cart here and some plants I have on here. It's a lot of Hoya plants, but I'll go through each one, and I have some like succulents and cacti down there. These 2 bags here are a recent prop that I did. These are some sad plants in my collection. This is a philodendron melanochrysum, and this is a gloriosum. So I kind of have them in little humidity chambers to root them a little bit better and regrow. This melanochrysum had spider mites when I first got him as a cutting, and I didn't like the way he was growing, so I cut him back, and he hasn't done anything since, and he doesn't have a lot of roots, so I'm just going to re-root him. And this gloriosum had some root rot, so yeah, he's just going to hopefully re-root and give me new growth. So yeah, he's just kind of hanging out for now. This guy is my Monstera Thai constellation. He's given me a new leaf right here. So I'm super excited. I repotted this guy in a YouTube video, so if you want to check that out, I did a repotting on him into this container. So he's got crazy roots for such a small plant, but yeah, hopefully he doesn't get root rot and I can watch him grow into a beautiful plant, because I love Monstera Thai constellation. Okay, next up is another Hoya. This is another Hoya publicalis. I don't know if it's a pink splash or it's just very splashy. It's kind of turning pink because of the sun, but yeah, I have like 3 of them, so they're all kind of similar, and he is on a very tall trellis as well. And that's my variegated string of hearts here. This guy started really small. Uh-oh, he's stuck down there. I don't want to take him out, but yeah, he is growing really long, and he started off as props, and I propagated 2 strands on him recently too, so hopefully he can grow into a big full plant. I'm going to chop and prop him again too and do the same thing and keep doing it until I get a full plant. And this is my Hoya Shepherdii. It's like a string bean Hoya, and I added him on a trellis not too long ago, and he's starting to give me some new growth here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. It's going to focus there. There you go. So yeah, he seems super happy since I repotted him. He's definitely a slower growing Hoya in my opinion. He doesn't seem to grow very fast. And it's going to probably be hard to see with this light coming in, but this is the second shelf. I have 4 Hoyas. I have 2 peperomia, and I have a variegated string of pearls in the back. But this is my Hoya curtisii, and I have 2 Hoya Crimson Queen side by side. And this is my Hoya australis. It's just the regular green version. And this is a peperomia. I forget the name. I'll have to put it on the screen for you. And I have a pink lady peperomia. I think that's what it's called. And my variegated string of pearls there too. And this down here, I just have a lot of like cacti and succulents. And yeah, they're just kind of hanging out for now. I have some cactus, and this is a panda plant. And the bear paws, I have a regular and a variegated version. And just some other, I have some like lithops there in the back. They're like the living stones. I have a couple of them there. So yeah, they're just kind of hanging out here. This guy's all lopsided. I need to repot him. Okay, next is this little shelf here. And up at the top is a very sad Tradescantia. I have overwatered this guy, and yeah, I'm just kind of letting him dry out and see how he does. If he doesn't do that well, I might just like chop and prop some strands and reroot them and pot him into the smaller pot. But yeah, I don't know. They don't really like me. They tend to not do well for me inside, just like ficus. So yeah, I might put one outside in the new place. We'll see, because they are pretty plants and I love the colors. But yeah, I kind of have a mixed pot there, so there's like different ones. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, so we'll see. I might chop and prop him, or I might just get rid of him. We'll see. And then next up is my string of turtles. This guy started really small and he is growing, and I propagated so many strands on this guy. So yeah, he looks kind of crazy, but hopefully I can get him to fill out more and get him into like a bigger pot so that he looks a little bit better, because he kind of looks a little crazy right now. And this one here is my philodendron mayoi. It has a pretty unique leaf shape. I sold a top cut on him, but he has given me a new growth finally, this small little leaf, and then he's got another one, looks like maybe coming on the way. So I don't know, I like the leaf shape, so I thought it was a pretty cool philodendron. So he's definitely small, so he needs to get a lot bigger, but yeah, it's a cool one to have. Okay, and this shelf here is 3 different Scindapsus varieties. I have a silver lady here, and this started off as just one unrooted cutting that I propagated, and it grew the second leaf, so it's definitely a slow grower. It's maybe trying to work on a 3rd leaf, so we'll see. And this is a silver splash Scindapsus. I love the variegation pattern on this one. Even though they all look similar, they are very different. I had the hardest time telling these guys apart when I first started. But yes, the silver splash is very pretty. And this one is the Argyrius. I believe most of this is Argyrius. Some strands have more variegation, but I think a lot of it depends on the light that you give the plant to. So yeah, I think this one's getting a little thirsty actually, because he's starting to curl in a bit. So I'm probably going to have to water this guy soon. So yeah, I have more Scindapsus varieties downstairs, but these are just 3 that I have up here. That's the other burl marks that I showed you. And this guy is my philodendron squamiferum. It has the fuzzy petioles. It's so cool. And it's finally given me a new growth point there. I chopped him and sold a couple top cuts, or I sold a top cut and a mid cut. So he has finally given me a new growth. But I love this guy. I love the fuzzy petioles. It is so cool looking. I cannot wait till he grows and it gets bigger. I'm probably going to end up putting him on a pole as well. Okay, next up is this plant shelf here behind me. I'll go through the plants on this shelf. I love this shelf. I have a lot of Syngonium and Hoya on this shelf and some Monstera and stuff. Yeah, they're kind of shoved back here in the corner, so I have a grow light. They don't get a whole lot of light, so yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get them in a better spot in the new place once I move. So yeah, they're kind of just hanging out here for now, but yeah, I'm excited to get them in a better spot soon. Okay, so on this first row, this is my Monstera siltepecana. I've cut so many cuttings off this guy, it's ridiculous, but I want to get some staked on a moss pole. I have some cuttings propagating currently, so yeah, he's just going to be my bigger plant once he grows more, but I do want one to climb up. This is my Rhaphidophora decursiva. It has given me this weird runner. It has like a new growth, I think, up top, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really like care for this plant too much now. I'm not in love with it as I once was, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe he'll grow better for me once I get him staked differently and maybe put him on a pole. We'll see. But yeah, he's just kind of hanging there for now. And this little thing here is a Peperomia Hope. He started off as a small little cutting and I propagated one strand and he's given me some new growth. So yeah, it looks a little wonky. So yeah, I'm not a Peperomia fan, but this one has been pretty easy care. So yeah, we'll see how it goes with that guy. And then this one here is my it's called a zebra plant. I forget the actual name. I'll have to put the actual name on the screen, but I just call it a zebra plant. It will flower if given enough light and humidity. It will give you yellow, gorgeous flowers, but mine has not done that. And this is a very dramatic plant. It lets you know when it gets thirsty, the leaves start to droop. So it probably could use water at some point here soon. But yeah, it's a beautiful plant. I love the leaves and the pattern, but yeah, it is very dramatic, but it's been pretty easy care for me so far. It hasn't given me any trouble. So yeah, they do like really bright light and humidity. So hopefully I can get him in a better spot too. All right, so moving down to this next shelf, I have my Begonia maculata. This was a rescue from Walmart and I propagated all the stems and rerooted him and potted him into a pot and he's doing okay. I only have 2 begonias in my collection, but this one's doing okay. So yeah, he's definitely pretty. I love the leaves and the sparkles that they give. So yeah, and it's got like a red back to them. So it's a very pretty begonia. And then next up is one of my favorites, Monstera, of course. I love Monstera. This is my Monstera Peru, and this guy is giving me a couple new growth points. There's one down there and there. So I love this guy and these huge leaves. It's one of my favorites, and I loved it so much I had to get the variegated one, of course. And look at that growth, you guys. I'm seriously obsessed with it. That variegation and that pop of color. I'm so in love with this plant. I can't even tell you. I just love that green on green variegation. It is just absolutely stunning. Next up is this shelf full of Syngonium. Look at all of those beautiful colors. I absolutely adore Syngonium. I have just fallen in love with them and have been on the Syngonium bandwagon. They are just gorgeous and a lot of them are really easy care. So yeah, I just love them so much. So if you don't have a Syngonium, I highly recommend, especially this one because it has been so easy for me and I just love them so much. I have one little Hoya there. That's a Hoya linearis. So he's just kind of hanging out on that shelf because he's getting a little bit long here. So yeah, I propagated him recently too. But yeah, I'll start with the Syngonium. I have 2 pink ones here, if you can see the difference. This first one is a pink splash Syngonium. I love the pink on this plant. And then I have another guy back there that is called a pink flecked Syngonium. So they are 2 different plants, but I love them both. I especially love that leaf right here. It is gorgeous, that darker green and that pink color. I love it. And then one of my recent faves that has just given me so much new growth and it's beautiful. This is a Syngonium Baltic and yeah, it's just gorgeous. It's such easy care and I love the new leaf color. It is just so pretty. I'm literally obsessed. I highly recommend. It's been so easy. This one is a newer Syngonium in my collection. This is a Syngonium aria, and it's got 3 leaves, and it's that yellow variegation, which I had to get because I'm obsessed. It is so beautiful and stunning. I cannot wait for this guy to give me new growth. And kind of in the back there, that's a 3 Kings Syngonium. This started off as a propagation, and it's given me a couple of new leaves there. They're very unique and it's very pretty, so yeah. And this is my other Syngonium albo that I got here in the front with the white leaves. I loved my other one so much that I had to get a second one because I loved all the white. It's just beautiful. And yeah, I cannot wait. I'm going to put this one, I might put this one on a moss pole too. We'll see. I don't know. I kind of want a bushy plant of Syngonium albo, so we'll see. And this Syngonium here is a frosted heart Syngonium. I chopped this guy like 3 times and I'm mad that I chopped him, but he's given me a couple new growth points, and that's a new leaf that it just gave me. So yeah, I wished I didn't cut him, so I'm hoping he grows back pretty full because yeah, he's just was so pretty, and I don't know why I cut him, but I did, so oh well. So yeah, this is some of my Syngonium. It's not all of them. I do have more. I do have a couple more downstairs that I'll show you when I go down there, but yeah, I love this shelf. It's just so beautiful. All right, and this shelf here is going to be some of my smaller Hoya plants, and I'll kind of go through each one here with you. This is a Hoya retusa. It's got like an interesting shape to it. It is a very slow grower, and yeah, it hasn't done much for me since I've had him, but yeah, hopefully he can give me some new growth because it's really cute and I like this Hoya. And this is a Hoya obovata. That big leaf here is a new leaf that it just gave me. And this started off as a cutting, so I propagated him and potted him up, but yeah, it's kind of cute in this pot with that face and this weird kind of hair that he has. And this is my variegated Hoya compacta, like the Hindu rope. It's a very, very slow grower. I got this guy a while ago, and he's given me a little bit of new growth up top, but yeah, very, very slow growing Hoya. And this one is my Hoya polynura, and it gave me like, I think it gave me these 3 growths since I've had him, so it did a decent amount of growing, but he definitely slowed. So I love this Hoya. I cannot wait till I get a full pot of that one. I'll probably propagate him at some point too. And this one is my Hoya macrophylla. Macrophylla, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I love this Hoya as well. Again, it started off as a 1-leaf cutting that I propagated and rooted him, and he gave me 3 new growths since I've had him. Especially that leaf. It's just so beautiful. And this Hoya, I think is a Hoya Bella. I'm not sure. I never got an exact ID, and it wasn't labeled, so it's very slow growing, but I don't know for sure what kind of Hoya it is. I think a Hoya Bella, but I'm not positive. This is my newest Hoya that I got. It's a Archboldiana, and yeah, he hasn't really done anything since I got him, so he's just been kind of hanging out, but he's got beautiful, beautiful leaves on him. That is my Hoya australis Lisa. I'm not sure what's on that leaf, but yeah, this one hasn't done anything for me since I've had him. So yeah, super slow growing for me right now. This is a Hoya Chelsea cutting. It hasn't grown anything. I rooted him and potted him up, but no new growth yet, so still waiting. This is also a propagated cutting. This is a Hoya Castrophilia. I think that's how you pronounce it. And yeah, so again, not any new growth yet from that guy. And this is a Hoya Weyertii, and that's the variegated version. And these guys really haven't done too much either. These guys were all pretty much propagated cuttings. And this is a Carrii Splash. So again, he was just a cutting that I propagated and potted up, but no new growth yet. So yeah, a lot of these guys started as cuttings or propagations. So besides like this one, and you know, this one was a small plant, and that one was a small plant, and that one that I got, but everything else was like pretty much cuttings. So yeah, this is some of my Hoya that I keep here, some of my smaller ones. Okay, next I'm going to take you to this shelf up here. I keep some of my snake plants up here in this corner because I just don't really have room for them right now until we move. But I have a whalefin sansevieria there, and that's the variegated whalefin. I love both of these guys so much. They're so pretty, so yes, I can't wait to get them in better light. This is some Monstera siltepecana cuttings that I have propagating, so I'm going to put this on a moss bowl. This is my Whitney snake plant. He hasn't really done too much since I've had him, but yeah, he's just kind of hanging out. I have an aloe plant back there, which I kind of just ignore. This is a moonshine sansevieria. He's still really small, so. And I have a raven ZZ that I don't really care for, so he's just kind of hanging out back there too. So yeah, these guys aren't getting a lot of light up here. They're kind of ignored and forgotten about, but these plants you can kind of ignore and forget about because they're snake plants. So yeah, they're getting very low light up here, just kind of some offset light from the lamp behind me, and that is it. So yeah, they'll get some better light when we move, but yeah, they're just kind of hanging out up there for now. Okay, next up is my little greenhouse. I will go through this with you guys. I've had this greenhouse for a while and I added more plants into here. So it's pretty full and there's quite a bit of plants in here, but I'll go through it with you and yeah, we can look at these together. And here is an overview of it open. It is so beautiful in here. I love all these plants so much. So yeah, these two shelves here are some of my most loved plants that are in here, but yeah, I love them all, so we'll kind of go through. So up top here, this is my Alocasia Frydek, and that big leaf that it just gave me. It's so gorgeous. I love this Alocasia. And this is my Philodendron Splendid. Again, a very beautiful plant with that sheen. So pretty. I love this Philodendron. He's given me another new growth too. And next, this is a strawberry shake philodendron, and it just gave me another leaf that is variegated. Look at that color. This was a cutting that I propagated and potted up, so yes, it's an expensive plant, but it can be worth it, you know, if you really want the plant and you know how to take care of it, then I think expensive plants can be worth it. And then that anthurium in the back is a chocolate anthurium. It's similar to the red anthurium plants that you can find at your local hardware store. So I love kind of the leaves on this guy. You know, it hasn't flowered in a while, but the leaves are pretty cool. This expensive guy is back down to 2 leaves. That one up top is the newest growth, but one of the original ones kind of just yellowed and died. So I think it was probably just from shock from its environment to mine. But yeah, it's back down to 2 leaves, so oh well. And this is my Anthurium forgetii. He's got 2 leaves in the back. But that's the newest leaf that it just gave me, and it's beautiful. Way back there is my Monstera Stanleyana that started off as a little cutting, so he is doing well. I don't know why this guy has some browning. I think, oh, it's yellowing, that's why. That's an older leaf, so it's probably on its way out. Oh well. And that's my Philodendron varicosum. He has been through a journey with me. He started off as plant mail that got lost in the mail for 2 weeks, and it was infested with spider mites. And I completely had to reroot him. This is one of the oldest leaves, so he's still hanging on. And I cut this guy so many times to propagate, so he's finally given me new growth, so I cannot wait for this guy to get big. This is my Philodendron Camposportulanum. I love this plant. I can't wait to put this one on a moss pole as well, so super excited about that. And this one is my Philodendron Burl Marks Fantasy. I cut him too, but he's given me some new growth finally. So yeah, super gorgeous. I love this guy too. Okay, this shelf here has a lot of anthurium and some others. So yeah, we'll start over here, I guess. This is a white knight cutting, a Philodendron white knight that I haven't had any new growth yet. I propagated him and potted him up, but no new growth yet, so he's just kind of hanging out. This is a smaller philodendron Florida Ghost that is in my collection. And I had a bigger one that I cut back, which is this guy here, because I didn't like the way he was growing. And he just gave me this new leaf, which is so pretty. So gorgeous. And my other cuttings of this are in my prop box downstairs, and I can take you through that too. But yeah, hopefully he grows back into a big, beautiful plant again. This tiny guy is a philodendron lupinum. He is a tiny little cutting, so not very big. So he has a little bit of new growth coming in. This is my Amedrium medium silver, and I think he probably needs some water soon because that leaf is getting a bit curled. So yeah, no new growth yet. I think it's working on one though. So yeah, these leaves are pretty cool. So I cannot wait till I get a bigger plant of this guy. And let's see, this is a Anthurium. This is a cross between a crystallinum and a magnificum. So that oldest leaf is yellowing, but the new growth is very pretty, and I love how anthuriums just shine in the light. They're just so beautiful. This guy is a philodendron tenue, and this guy started off as a cutting, and he's given me this new growth, so super excited about that. I love the leaves. Let's see. And this one is my only jewel orchid that I have. It's a Mecodes Petolia, something like that. I'll put it on the screen, but it's very beautiful. I love this guy. I'm probably going to put him in a humidity dome or like a terrarium when we move eventually, when I do one. And then the rest of these guys are anthurium. This Veitchii is dying. It's like a little seedling that I got, but yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. So I need to get like a bigger plant so I can have a bigger one. This is my magnificum that gave me a new leaf. It was just like this one leaf cutting that I got from someone local, and yeah, it finally gave me a new leaf. This is my Anthurium Queen or Warqueanum, and that's the newest leaf there it gave me. So yeah, it's just hanging out in here. I have my Anthurium Clarinervium that gave me that new leaf recently, so cannot wait for that one to get bigger. I love that Anthurium. And this one is just Anthurium Fingers. I forget the other name off the top of my head, but I don't really like this one. I mean, that leaf's pretty cool, but the other leaves are kind of wonky. So yeah, he's just kind of hanging out back there. So yeah, I have one anthurium downstairs that I'll show you, but this is most of them that are up here. So yeah, that is that shelf, and we have 2 more to go through. Okay, I'm not going to take all these guys out because it's too much moving, but I'll kind of walk you through. This is a part of my Gloriosum chunk that I propagated, so he's just kind of hanging out in that little container. I have an Alocasia dragon scale. This one is so much smaller than my one downstairs. I have a silver dragon that I got at the same time, but these leaves are small, so he's taking his sweet time. And I have a narrow form Monstera adansonii in the back, so he's just propagated cuttings that's hanging out. I have another Syngonium Baltique that was just nodes that have sprouted into leaves. So I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet, so we'll see. This is a global green pothos. It has like it's like a reverted enjoy, so it has like a unique variegation pattern. But yeah, this was just like propagated cuttings. This is a Jose Bueno, something like that. It's giving me a new growth. And look at that leaf. It is so pretty. I'm happy with the progress that this guy has made. This was a cutting that had root rot, so yeah, I'm so happy with that progress. This is my, it's like a peacock calathea, and it had spider mites last winter, but it is coming back in full force, so happy about that. I have an Alocasia poly back here that is giving me new leaves. He had spider mites last winter too. I have this crazy begonia in the back that I'm not sure, it's some kind of angel wing begonia, but he is growing, And this is a variegated peperomia. I'll have to put the name of it on the screen because I forget. It starts with the C, but yeah, I love the variegation. But yeah, peperomias and I don't get along though. And then I have a Stromanthe Trio Star here and a White Fusion Calathea in the back. And these guys love being in this higher humidity in here, so they are thriving in this little area. And then on this shelf here is my Black Velvet Alocasia. That's, some of the leaves are a little sad, but it just gave me this new growth here, so yeah. But the roots seem okay. I think it just is a little sad for some reason. And that is a Colocasia, a Hilo Beauty that hasn't gone dormant. So yeah, it's just kind of hanging out on that bottom shelf in there too. All right, so this was everything in this room. I kind of walked you through this entire room and what's in here. So yeah, I probably have over 100 plants, 120 maybe up here. So yeah, we have a few more and 2 other rooms, and then the rest of them are downstairs. So yeah, we'll go through the rest of them. You guys on my stories probably know this story with this ficus altissima that I had, but all the leaves fell, but I still haven't thrown this thing away, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing yet. I don't know. I need to research on what to do with that stick. So yeah, it's just there. Okay, in here I just have a couple plants. I just had to move them out of the way. This is a Sayuri Sansevieria or snake plant. I had him on my porch outside all summer, so he's doing okay. He gets kind of offset light from a south window in here, but yeah, he's just kind of hanging out. And then I have a cactus planter that I made a while ago. I had this on my porch outside during the summer and it thrived out there. Like, this guy grew that much from just being outside. So yeah, he's just kind of getting some offset light in here and yeah, just kind of hanging out. So yeah. And I have this like succulent here that's just gone bonkers. He was outside and now he's just gotten really leggy because he doesn't get any light. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that thing. Then I have a money tree in here. It's just kind of getting offset low light right now. He's giving me lots of new growths. He had spider mites, so I had to quarantine him and I just left him kind of in quarantine. So yeah, I got him as a small little tree from Lowe's and he's grown quite a bit, but yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get him in better light when we move, but yeah, he's just kind of hanging out here for now. All right, you guys, we are downstairs now and I have quite a few plants down here too, but I gotta make this fast because I am losing daylight. So yeah, I will take you through all the areas down here and show you all the plants that I have in this area. So yeah, I'm excited. So let's do part 2 of this and go around my room down here. All right, so I'm gonna do this shelf in the corner first because a lot of the south sun is coming in and beaming on these plants, so they get a little taste of that light and they love it. I need to refill my humidifier because it's low and it ran out, so I gotta do that after I film this. But yeah, I'll kind of go through the plants in this corner. But first I'll just do, this is a palm tree I've had for quite a few years. It had spider mites before, and it had scale before because I used to keep it outside, but it's some kind of cat palm. I forget the exact name, but yeah, it just kind of hangs out in here. And in this corner is my big philodendron painted lady. I sold a top cut off of this plant, but it is giving me some new growth there, so I'm super excited for that. It is a pretty large painted lady, so yeah, he's kind of shoved in the corner, unfortunately, because I don't really have a spot for him, but when we move, I will get a better spot. And I have my beautiful Marantas and my Calathea orbifolia down here, so I love these. This is a red Maranta and my lemon lime. They look a little weird because their leaves aren't spread out and beautiful like how they do at night, but yeah, it is gorgeous at night. I love these plants so much. They're like some of my favorite plants. And this shelf here will give you a closer look. I have all sorts of plants on these shelves, honestly. So this is a Syngonium woodlandii. It has like a beautiful dark green velvety foliage, which is beautiful. And this is my Alocasia regal shield that is probably going to kill this old leaf off at some point, but it just gave me a new leaf here not that long ago. And it's working on, I think, another one too. So, and this was a bulb that I put back into the soil, that a corm that I found and I re-rooted and grew. And so this is the baby plant that it gave me. I have two pink princess philodendrons here. This is my original one that's given me pink growth since I chopped it. And this is my newer one here. So I love all the pink. I love these guys so much. This is a Syngonium strawberry ice that lost its pretty variegated leaf, but hopefully it'll give me some more pink. It has like a new leaf forming, so we'll see. That is my Epipremnum pinnatum albo back there. I chopped that guy too, but he is working on a new growth. I love this plant so much. I have a Alocasia Maharani here that has 2 leaves, and it's working on a 3rd leaf here. So this is the oldest one that it might kill off. It has been a 2-leafer for a while. And then I have my philodendron Miami back here. It's got 4 leaves, and it's got another growth point there that it's probably going to give me soon. So yes, I love this philodendron as well. And it's got cute little ruffles on the back of the leaves. It's adorable. Okay, and this top shelf here, I have 2 Monstera albos. This is my oldest one. This leaf is yellowing, and it's finally got a growth point, but it's not really doing much, so it's just kind of hanging out. Hopefully it'll grow soon. This is one that I recently potted up, and in the back I have my El Choco back there, Philodendron El Choco red, and I had a yellow leaf recently that I had to chop off of that guy, so yeah, he's just hanging out back there. I have my Anthurium crystallina back here. It's got 2 leaves. It is beautiful. I love the shiny leaves on Anthuriums. Some of my favorite. This is my Florida Beauty, my Philodendron Florida Beauty. This was a propagation, a cutting, and it gave me a new leaf finally, but it reverted. It does have a new growth point though, right there, so hopefully the next leaf will be variegated because this one is beautiful and I know it's not going to last forever. This is my Alocasia Silver Dragon. I love this plant so much. The leaves are gorgeous and it does have a new growth point in there. So yeah, I cannot wait for this guy to get big. And then I have my Philodendron Villetier. It's growing kind of wonky, I think, because of the light. But this is the newest leaf and it's working on another one right there. So yeah, super excited. I love this plant so much. It's so beautiful. And then right off to the side of the shelf this is a Hoya, I think it's a SP or AFF SP Burtney, or Hoya Burtney, I think. Is what someone told me it was. It just bloomed not too long ago. It's been blooming since spring, but this is an east window that it sits in and it's super happy up here. So, and he does get some of the south light. So I had more plants, but I had to take them down because I was trying not to have so many plants in the way for house showings and stuff. So he's the only guy hanging in this window so far. Okay, moving along, here is my big Monstera deliciosa. This guy is so happy. He was a couple cuttings that I propagated and regrew from root rot. He just gave me like 2 beautiful leaves. I have all of his leaves facing one direction, but turn it around. It is so beautiful. I love this Monstera so much. So yeah, he loves this light that he gets from the south window and this east window here. So yeah, he's super happy. And this guy here is it's like a type of Calathea Stramanth. I forget the name. I know what it is, but I'll put it on the screen for you. But yeah, he kind of sits down here and yeah, just kind of hangs out. Gets a little bit of indirect light down there, but yeah, he's been super happy. Never had a pest issue or anything with him. I have a little air plant right here. I have a few air plants, but this one just hangs out here, so I don't know. I'm not a big fan, but I don't really know the names of the air plants, so yeah. And then a little bit a ways to the left here is another east window. I have some plants hanging up, and then I have a couple here. This is my big neon pothos. It loves this light, and I have a grow light for extra light during the evening. And this is my big Hoya Crimson Princess. I love this Hoya. It's been so happy, and it loves this east window, and it gets a little bit of grow light from up top, but it is just so beautiful and so big and so happy. It's one of my favorite plants. I just love it so much. And up top here, I have my Scindapsus pictus. This is an exotica, and it hangs in this east window here. And then I have a philodendron silver stripe here that hangs. This is another beautiful plant. I totally recommend this plant because it's just beautiful. And it sits next to, this is my big philodendron Brazil that has like two really long strands all the way down. And it's starting to give me longer growth here on a few of the other strands, so that's exciting. And one strand is like all lemon lime. It like had this leaf, and then the rest of them have been like all of that lemon lime color, so it's kind of cool. And this is the lemon lime here by itself. So this one's been a much slower grower than my Brazil for sure, but it's beautiful and I cannot wait for this one to get bigger. So I'll kind of give you a little overview there of those. Yeah, and again, I had more plants hanging up top, but I had to take them down, so yeah. And this golden pothos here I have hanging in a north window. It's a little sad since I repotted it, so I'm gonna have to do some digging. I think it probably stayed wet for too long, so yeah, I probably have a little bit of root rot going on, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I'm gonna take a look at it later, and I might have to propagate some of these sad strands and kind of start over with this plant maybe, so yeah, it's definitely hasn't been happy since I repotted it. I probably shouldn't have repotted it so late, and yeah, it happens, but yeah, I'm gonna do some digging into that later. This here is another snake plant in my collection. I forget the name of it, but it's the oldest one that I've had. He sits in low light, so he doesn't grow that much, but hopefully when we move, I can get him to grow more because it has one really long strand, which is like the oldest spike on the plant. So yeah, I do love this snake plant, even though I kind of don't give him enough light that he would appreciate. And over here I have another Maranta plant. I'll put the name on the screen, but this is the variegated one. It's so beautiful, especially that leaf there. So it's gorgeous. It gets like medium light, I would say, sitting on this table. It's pretty far back from the window, like maybe 6 feet. So probably like medium to low light this guy gets. All right, and then over here we have another shelf. This is offset from like a south window here, so this shelf doesn't get much light at all. It gets low light, so I have 2 grow lights right now, but they do okay. I mean, they aren't really thriving in this spot, but they're doing okay with the grow lights, but definitely would appreciate more light. So up top I have my philodendron Birkin. He's just kind of chilling. He hasn't given me too much growth since I moved him out of higher light. I had him in more like bright and direct, and he was giving me more growth, but he's kind of slowed down a lot. So yeah, he's kind of just hanging for now, but I've had this plant for a little while. And this is another Scindapsus. This is a Silvery Ann. I couldn't think of the name for a minute. But yeah, again, it would appreciate more light, but it's just kind of hanging out here for now. There's not like a ton of irrigation, but it was labeled at the nursery where I got it, so it is a Silvery Ann. It's just kind of hanging out. And then next to that is my Cebu Blue Pothos, and it's starting to give me some longer strands. I propagated a lot of cuttings and added them back in top so it would get full and fluffy. So yeah, I cannot wait for this guy to get big. And I do have some strands propagating in my prop box that I'm going to put on a moss pole too, because I want one to climb up as well. And on this shelf is this is my Scindapsus Moonlight. It gave me like 3 new leaves at once, and it already has, oh, I thought that was a new growth point. It's not. Yeah, it gave me 3 new leaves, and then it's probably going to take a while for new growth. So it's a beautiful Scindapsus. This is my other Micans that I kind of shoved into the pot. There's so many strands shoved in here that it's just crazy looking right now. But yeah, my other one is climbing upstairs, so this one I'm probably going to let trail, but we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do with this guy yet, so he's a little crazy looking right now. And this is my variegated heteroecium, or my heartleaf philodendron. It started off as one unrooted cutting, and it's given me these leaves. It has 4 of them since it started growing, and that's the newest one there. And it does have like a couple of other growth points here too. So yes, I'm going to propagate this guy too and make him more full. And down here we have, this is a Jessiana pothos, and I love like the unique variegation pattern on it. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. I found this plant at Lowe's and I have the main plant. I'll show you in a little bit, but I took out all the variegated strands and popped them into one. So it's given me lots of little new growths that are variegated that are just gorgeous. So this is super pretty. I love this one. And this is my Syngonium mojito. It's got these giant leaves here. It is gorgeous. This is the newest leaf it gave me, which is getting bigger, and it's working on another growth point there. So yeah, super, super in love with this plant. I love it. This is my silver sword philodendron. It is working on a new leaf right here that you can see. So super excited about that. This guy was a propagated cutting as well. And back here is my Mandula pothos. It's just kind of hanging out. So it hasn't really grown a whole lot. So yeah, he's just kind of in that corner for now. So yeah, these are the plants that I keep here for now. I had a ton of plants shoved on this corner at one point, but I had to declutter the home. So yeah, this is just kind of the plants that I put here for now. So yeah. Okay, and I'm going to take you to this little area. This is a bright patio window. It's a south facing window. So I have this ponytail palm here. I had this guy out on my porch over the summer, so I moved him inside and he kind of is just chilling. He still gets some bright south light in the afternoon, so he just kind of hangs out. And that's a Dracaena plant there that is just kind of hanging out too. So he's kind of shoved in the corner but does get some offset light. And this is my Pilea peperomoides. He just kind of is chilling in this thing. It's not the happiest plant. You know, I haven't found like a happy spot for him yet, but hopefully I can find a better spot in the new place. So yeah, he's just kind of hanging. And this is my other Dracaena pothos. It's all pretty much reverted, so I think I'm going to give this guy away before we move, because I don't think I'm going to keep this guy. So yeah, he's just kind of hanging for now. And right here I have a few other air plants. There's like 4 different ones in here. And again, I'm not really sure of the names. They're just kind of, yeah, I don't know. They're okay. They're just kind of hanging here for now. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but yeah, they haven't died on me and I had them for over a year, so. All right, you guys, I think I took you through everything except for my prop box. So let me take you through my prop box real quick. I'll just open it up so you can see inside. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, let me show you the prop box. Okay, so this is my prop box here. It sits on the floor by my south window, this big patio window here. So he gets a lot of sun in the afternoons. So in my prop box, I have all sorts of stuff. I recently chopped my my Brantianum. So I'm gonna reroot this plant and regrow it. And I have some Scindapsus in here, some Neon Pothos, no child. Some Monstera adansonii, some Florida Ghost cuttings. I have some heart leaves, some Cebu blue, and a whole lot of nodes. And I have like Monstera Peru nodes and Monstera siltepecana. So yeah, all kinds of stuff in here propagating. So yeah. Yeah, so that is it, you guys. That is my entire house collection of plants right now. Thank you so much for watching this all the way through and seeing a bit of my space. I know my plants are kind of chaotic right now and in a bunch of different areas, but I'm so excited to get them set up in one room when we move. It's just going to be so nice. I'll probably have a few plants scattered throughout, but mostly all in a plant room. And I'm going to be taking you guys through that whole process and getting it set up. So I'm so excited for you to see that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed my collection and what I have. I did downsize some, so I don't have as many as I used to have. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to check out more of my plants in my collection, head on over to my Instagram at Plants by Melissa. I would love for you guys to check me out over there. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in another video soon. I'm so excited to the Publica. Keep wanting to say that wrong. I have another Hoya publicalis.